All right, guys. Hey, how are you doing? So I just wanted to stop by real quick before this podcast starts and say you should like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on all my social medias at John D. Clouser. It's literally the same name as the name that you subscribe to on this YouTube channel. So enjoy this clip, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
That's not a fucking joint. Ugh.
All right. Good googly moogly. What's going on, guys? How are you doing? So we're here on a new episode of the John Show with your host, John D. Clouser. That is who I am. If you are new, welcome. If you're a returning guest, thank you so much for coming back to what I like to call a shit show. Or I shouldn't be so down on myself or be so down on the podcast. John, we all have to start somewhere. It's like we all have to go places and be in these things to deal with, like, to eventually grow bigger and better. You got to do it over and over again. That's why I keep telling. It's like it is what it is. What's up, guys? How are you doing? So we are here on episode 26. Day, what is it? 831 of COVID. It's beautiful. It's nice. It's summer's almost over. It's crazy. This month is almost over. August just started. Anyway. It's crazy. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're doing swell, safe, sound, wearing masks and all that stuff. I really do. I hope you guys are doing a lot better than I'm doing. So, guys, let me tell you, this week's been kind of crazy. So everything was normal, like it is. You know, I'd get up, go to the gym, go to work, come home. You know, maybe edit if I have to edit, type a little bit on the computer, some ideas or something I thought of, write in this little crazy little red little notebook I have. You know. Do something. And you know what? The crazy thing is, too, I'd even play Madden every once in a while. Well, a couple of days ago, so I'm filming this it is like 1:07 in the morning, a.m. on Sunday, August 23rd. And so I woke up it was Thursday. And, sorry, guys. That was so rude. And so I turned it off too, and I turned it back on because I was watching this little video. Because sometimes you like on Instagram say that if you have your phone on silent, you can't hear any videos. So it was one of those things, and then I forgot to turn it back off because it is what it is. So I woke up on Thursday, and I got ready to go to the gym. I was super excited. I was pumped. I was awake. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, this pre-workout is kicking. I'm ready to rock and roll. I've been listening to a lot of Little Richard lately because I really feel like we just lost this man. He just recently passed away. But I feel like a lot of people like kind of underestimate, or not even underestimate. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, Little Richard. Yeah, everyone knows, Tutti Frutti. But like he has some really good ones. He has some really good hits. Rip It Up. He has Tutti Frutti. He has Tall Hair. What is that song called? Let's do Little Richard. Little Richard. See, I can't talk and type songs. I'm like breathing so heavy out of my mouth. Keep Rockin'. Ready Teddy. What is that one though? Long Hair Sally. That's what it is. That's what I was thinking. Long Hair Sally is really good. And then was it oh dude, what is it? Is the Long Hair Sally? Oh, Good Golly Miss Molly. That's what it was. And he had one more. Lucille. That's the one I liked. Lucille's really good. Like his range of voice is superb. But anyway, I digress to go back to the story. So I was ready to go. I got to my car and I turned it on, and like it was just rah, 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 this crazy sound. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, what the hell? And I was like, what the? I'm like, it just sounded like a gargoyle drowning. It was like the weirdest sound, like a dirt engine, like a dirt bike engine. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I turned my car off because I thought it might have been something else. It was just so crazy, like how it sounded. It sounds so violent. It's such a violent sound. And then I turned my car back on, and I'm like, oh God, it's my car. So I stepped out, and it was really loud, and it kind of like dissipated a little bit. Well, I was like, fuck. I'm like, I guess like all my plans right now are going to go out the window. I have to go to the mechanic. So I drove my car to the mechanic. Come to find out, this is the funniest thing. So the catalytic, I keep calling it the Catalina wine converter, but it's a catalytic converter. It's like basically like a muffler. Mine got stolen out of my car. That's what's so crazy. Like it's like this big piece of metal, and what you do is you basically melt it down, and it has lithium and has all these like really expensive metals that you can get off I guess onto the black market on the streets. And it was so crazy how I learned it was because I went to the mechanic. He called me. He's like, hey, we're going to do an inspection on your car. That's going to cost you $85. That's cool. Like, whatever. I'm like, whatever. I just need to know what was wrong with my car. Because what I thought it was the transmission. Because like, I don't know very much about the car, but I started doing, anyway, just Google, it does this kind of sound. What could it be? And like the first thing that came up was like transmission. Or it could be other problems. So I was like, transmission. So then I Google how much the transmission would cost to like repair or get a new one or whatever it is. And it was like $4,000. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's $4,000 plus having to get like repair person to like do it for me, a mechanic. I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, oh God damn it. Like what is this? What's wrong with my car? Because it was making that sound, but also the check engine light was on. So they called me and asked me like, hey, can we do the inspection? I mean, like the diagnostics thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, just do whatever you need to do. So they call me back like a couple hours later. And like, so Mr. Klauser, we realized that your, catalytic converter, is actually been removed. Someone took it off your car. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, it's gone from the top to the bottom. It's gone. GONE, just not there anymore. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, what does that have to, like, what we're going to have to do now? He's like, well, I'm going to have to recommend you to somebody that I know, because we can't do that kind of stuff here, because if we do it, we don't have we would have to just buy the part, and then to do the time and labor to put it all together, like it's going to cost you like $4,000. I'm like, I don't understand. But then I look it up online to these other places, and it's like $200. And so it's significantly different. It's like, the funny thing is it's an $85 part. It's the fucking funny thing. I went on eBay, and I was like, let's see how much these things cost. And I'm like, what does it even do? So apparently what it does, like all like the exhaust and all the smoke that comes from, layman's terms, like please forgive me. Like you don't come here for the education. You come here I would hope you come for the stories. Anyway, again, I digress. So I looked it up, and apparently it carries all of the smoke and the carcinogens, the gases, the gross stuff. It takes it all out all the way to the back of the car. So this big part that connects like the front part and the back part is gone. The middle part's gone right now. And it's just really funny. I'm just like, wow, that's cool. Like, you couldn't, like, the person who did this, or peoples or whatever, is that you couldn't just be a normal thief and just break my window and just have me have to deal with a broken glass, and then, having to call a person when I'm at work to just like, oh, your glass, okay, we'll just like replace that really easily, and they replace it. But no, it has to be like just some absurd thing stolen off my car, And it's not even the cost of it. It's just the fact that it's such an absurd thing, and the fact that like the reason why you do it is because it has some sort of like precious, like expensive metals that you can buy. And it's just the anger that I got from it is just like, oh my God, this is nice. And the fact that like now I have to like on Monday go to the mechanic that it's at and then violently turn that car on and hear that sound and drive it all the way to another part of town to get them to put a new muffler into it, basically. It's going to be real fun. Hopefully it'd be awesome if it's just like a 1 day thing. I can get it all done on Monday. Chances are I'm going to leave it there for a couple days, which is, again, always fun. This is always fun stuff to deal with. So I hope, again, your guys' week has been so much better than mine. So much better than mine. And it really, honestly, guys, like when I heard about it and how he said it, the guy was, it's Gone, gone, just gone. That I was like, I just laughed. I'm like, who in the hell steals that? Out of all the stuff to steal, like you steal like such an absurd part of a car. Like most people just break the window, get whatever they need to get. And the thing is, like, there's nothing in my car. Even if you were to break into my car, you're gonna get a couple pairs of shoes. Like like a pair of shoe. And like the thing is, like they're dirty like work shoes. They're kitchen shoes. They're gonna smell like kitchen. Like it's gross. And so you don't want those. So that's going to be all you're going to get. Like that's it. But nope. Instead, they took the Catalina wine converter. It was so weird. I'm like, I keep trying to explain it to people. Like, I'm like, because I would even ask like some people like, hey, do you know if you, some place that like that you go to for, or do you know someone who, replaces the Catalina, I'm like I was like, the converter thing to a car, and like what? And so I'd have to show them a picture, and it's great. It was a good time. It's been fun. It's been really fun dealing with this, but it really, honestly and truthfully, it's just a small annoyance. I was pretty lucky the fact that I have like a source where I can use to get a car or be able to borrow a car, so it's nice to be able to get that done. But if it wasn't that, then I got to work, and dude, like, I don't understand. This is something I don't understand either. What I don't get is why, like, cornbread's amazing. It's perfect how it is, how it was invented. It was just good. It was a good time. It's delicious every single time. Some people like the center of it. Some people like the corners where it's a little bit burnt. We all have our preferences. We like all a very specific way we do things. I get it. Now, I don't understand why people would ever put like green and red peppers in cornbread. Nothing kills cornbread faster other than only putting one egg. But another thing is putting red and green peppers in cornbread. Like, it is awful. That's horrendous. That is one of the most grossest things I experienced. I ate it, and I'm like, this is not good. Not good at all. Like, I was very disturbed by the whole thing, and it was really not a good time. It's just, I just don't understand why you would do something like that. It just doesn't make any sense at all to me. It makes literally no sense at all. Like, so like, but if it's not something like that, then I really don't have a good segue to like the next thing I was going to talk about. And so I was like, somehow I was going to try to fit in like throwing up to like my next story about like throwing up, or like talk about throwing up, wanting to throw up, and then go into a story about throwing up. So I guess I'll just go into a story about throwing up. So actually, this is like, when I was thinking about this, and I'm like, well, I don't know. This is like a story I've never thought about for the longest of time. So I'm 31 years old right now. I was a freshman in college when the story happened. So I was, 19 years old, 18 going on 19. And So I was at this party at this point in my life, I was living in South Dakota. So I wasn't living in Sioux Falls. So I went to Billings, South Dakota, where where one of the state schools is. And when I was there, I got absolutely wasted. I got hammered, so hammered, and it was a house party because all these are normally house parties. You'd go to like one or two houses next to each other where the party is happening. So I was in the garage of one, and that's where everyone was like smoking cigarettes, smoking pot, doing whatever. I sat there because I was so drunk. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, ooh, man, this is not good. This is not good. I should not have done this. And I was not feeling, I'm like, here it comes. And I started throwing up. And what I was trying to do is I was trying to find a place to throw up because there was a table like this that I'm sitting in front of. It was very similar to this. And then over to the side was basically like an old, where you catch oil when you're changing the oil in a car. And inside that was a bagel, a half bagel, whole, never had a bite taken out of it. And so I was throwing up. And at this point, people could hear me throwing up because it was horrendous. The sound was I was throwing up taco salad. I was throwing up tacos. I was throwing up burritos. I was throwing up alcohol. I was throwing up all this food because I was stupid. I overate and I overdrank and I threw it all up. And this guy came out. He's like, holy shit. Oh my God. This guy's talking about, he threw up. And like, he threw up half of a bagel. And then like from that on, like my friends were like, what the fuck? And then I got known at my school as being the guy who threw up half a bagel when he was absolutely wasted at a party. So we all have our paths in life, and this was mine. I hope yours has been is just as exciting as mine has been. It's been a good time. This is like one of like the crazy things. Like, so in college, oh my God, what else? I was in my car, and my roommate at the time had a slingshot, and he had a bunch of paintballs, and we were driving from Kansas City all the way up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So somewhere in St. Joe, Missouri, my roommate shot the slingshot at a car, and then the car started following us. Because, that's what you would do. Because if someone hit your car with a paintball, you'd be like, what the fuck? Why would you just do that shit? And it was just country enough town, like area where like they would just start following us. And they followed us for a good 20 minutes, or the guy did for about 20 minutes, whichever one it was. Because it could have been one person, it could have been multiple people. And then we were so scared. And so we ended up doing was like driving on the back roads all the way back up to Sioux Falls. So we saw some really cool things. So we drove through weird towns in Iowa, weird towns in Nebraska, and then we kind of swooped up and back into Sioux Falls. And it was a great time. My buddy and the reason why like we did this is because, like if we got pulled over, we got kind of pulled over. Like what, it was his word against ours. Like, we could just be like, I don't, okay, like. And we could just completely deny it, because all we would do is we trashed the slingshot after the guy stopped following us. Because we assumed that once he stopped following us, that he had called the cops, and so we were gonna have like cops would at least be out looking. If they saw a car that matched that description up on the highway, then they would like pull them over, and then we'd get in trouble. Like I did stupid shit like that, and so the whole time like it was a really cool bonding moment with like me and this guy, because the reason why we had to do this, because we were the night before we had this huge party, because we came down to Kansas City, and we were drinking with a bunch of buddies I know from here. And then he had this bright idea. He woke me up in the morning. He's like, hey dude, I have like 200, like I have like X amount of money. He's like, what we should do is we should buy like 2 pounds of pot. And I'm like, okay. He was going to buy the pot. I wasn't going to buy any pot. I was just going to be there with him because it was just cheaper to buy it in Kansas City. Duh. And then take it up to South Dakota. That was the whole mindset of it. So, again, this was the dumb shit I was doing in my life at that time, and also going to school. And I was doing all this weird shit because I was like, you know what? Like, John, You have to do weird things like this because you need to have stories. Because if you have stories, then you can tell them. Never thinking that one day I would end up being 31 years old, talking to myself on a podcast and telling stories about how a roommate of mine had pounds of pot in a car that I owned, and we were driving it from Kansas City, Missouri, all the way up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But that's, part of growing up and learning about yourself. And it was honestly one of the best years of my life. That same year, I went to Wyoming and got into a huge fucking double wide. Like there was like a double wide area. Houses, where they call it like one of those. What are those called? Like when there's just like a bunch of double wides in an area. But you know what I'm sure you guys are talking about. It's just a bunch of double wides, and they just lived in a trailer park. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. It was like basically a trailer park, and we were going there to smoke pot, and then we were partying too, doing that was it, like just drinking a lot of alcohol, because up in Wyoming you can have drive-through alcohol things, and then all you do is like my roommate had a fake ID, so we just got as much alcohol as we wanted and always just drank. And then his parents were pretty cool too, like so they would just, whatever alcohol was in the house, they just let us drink it. Like it was Wyoming. No one gives a like Wyoming's different. Great, beautiful land that has not been touched. Such a beautiful part of the world. And I remember we'd get, every time we'd go up there, we would go hiking up into the mountains. And he's like, I'm going to show you this thing. So like he's like, back in the day, they used to have the Indians dug this little place out. I guess they dug this cave or found this cave. And they would hide away from the white people. I'm like, really? I'm like, he could be lying to me. I have no idea. We would get so fucking baked on the hike up there. We'd be carrying 30 pounds of backpack on our backs, and we would still be smoking just blunts. It's like just being dumb. We're just being dumb kids with no worries or wonders in the whole world, just thinking like, what could ever come next? And then so we would just go up into this mountain, and we'd go up on this mountain, go into this cave, we'd go down deep, because you'd follow rope that other people have taken, and then he had rope that he had gone over years and years with his buddies. So we just take that, and we'd find like open places that we'd just jump down into, and we just sat there, like had a flashlight up, like we'd stick it down on the ground. It was like kind of illuminating, so you could see a little bit of everything that was going on, and we would just smoke pot in it. We did it just to smoke pot. It was just like, well, not that like the pot that we were smoking to get to the place was enough pot. We were like, well, once we get there, we have to, again, smoke more pot, because it's the only thing that makes sense of this whole situation. Why would we ever climb this mountain and go into this cave where these Indians used to live? Why would we ever do this and not just smoke pot? It's like, that's what you think when you're 18 years old. At least that's what I thought when I was 18 years old. It was just like pot, get stories, then have these crazy stories to use them for something. Like, and you're like, my life has been strangely odd. But that was a good time. That was such a good time. I love how when I do these podcasts, I'm always like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I have no idea. What am I going to do? And I always wait till like 1:30 in the morning to start doing one of these silly things. So what else do I have? I have like 5 minutes left. I have a easy story. What's another story? So I guess I will tell another crazy story. So the only time, I guess I've been punched in the face twice. Once was my freshman year of college. Makes sense, being 18, smoking all that pot. And then the second time was I was 24 in Los Angeles, and I got punched in the face by a guy with Parkinson's disease. So think about that. Think about what kind of piece of shit you have to be acting like for the guy who has Parkinson's disease. Out of everyone in the area that you're at, he's the one that gets up and it's like, don't worry, guys, I'll take care of this. And waddles over and socks you in the face with Parkinson's disease, by the way. Like, it didn't hurt, but it was just the fact that, like, oh, you're like, you really have to stop and think. What I'm doing right now is making me look like a fucking asshole. So I should probably stop doing this. And that's what I was doing at 24. So it gradually went from 18 to 24 of like, wow, from shooting paintballs in a car at other cars to getting punched in the face by a guy with Parkinson's disease at 24. 18 to 24, God, John, you did a good job. And that was college. And then during that time, I was in Tijuana, and I saw a buddy of mine that I went there with almost get a banana shoved up his asshole by two strippers. Like, so one of them was kissing him, and the other one was like, behind him, like, and they were dancing, like, taking the clothes off of him slowly, and then got him all the way down to his boxers. And then, like, they tried to pull his boxer down and, like, quickly shove a banana up his butthole. It was crazy. And this was the same night where I saw these strippers, like, full-blown naked. Full-blown. You're like, I was surprised. And you know what, the one thing I was surprised about Tijuana strip clubs is the fact they actually disinfect the strip pole after every girl. I would think there'd be some things that they would just kind of skip over. Not Tijuana. Tijuana is high class when it comes to, like, the strip clubs. Very high class to it. And plus, as long as you say it's your birthday, like, you always get, like, at least a couple more beers for free. It's a good time. It's a good time. At least we got it for free. I don't know what my friend said, but somehow he said something, because I was already wasted at this point. And wait. It was also the same night that we got a 8K pulled out on us. But yeah, it was good times. It was, but yeah, like, actually the only strip clubs I've ever been to are, like, ones in, like, Tijuana, and I've been to one in Egypt, and then I went to one. Where was the other one I went to? It wasn't Amsterdam when I did that, because in Amsterdam I just got baked. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna get high. I just wanted to get stoned. That was when I was 27 when I went to Amsterdam. I was 23. I went to Prague, was there for a while. That was good. That was a good, fun time. Did a lot of photography there. I recently just found all those pictures too. I should start posting them, but, like, I feel like such a douche when I post my, like, photography pictures. I'm like, this is a picture of fucking puppets on a string. Like, it's like, what do I say? Like, I'm like, it's a cool picture to me, but, like, it probably don't mean shit to you. Like, and it's like, no, people rather have, like, again, to black girls, you've engineered of, like, oh, like, I fall in love on Instagram, like, every 2 minutes. It's so crazy. Like, beautiful big butt women. Like, it's a good time. I'm not saying that those are not the only beautiful women. All women are beautiful. You know what I mean? But it's a good time looking at that stuff. But guys, I want to say, if you've gotten this far, you should definitely give this thumb a thumb. You should give this thumb a thumbs up. Please give this video a thumbs up. It's 1:32 in the morning. Come on, guys. Come on, just do it. Give this a thumbs up. If you are, if you're new, this is it. This is me just telling weird stories, practicing, trying to talk into a camera, really doing a shitty job looking to, anyway. I hate a lot of, I'm actually just trying to kill time, really, to tell you the truth, guys. So if you like this video, please give this thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want. I don't expect a comment, but a thumbs up would be really cool. Follow me on all my social medias at John D. Clouser. It's literally the same name, the same stuff like that. Be safe. Don't get your catalytic converter in your car stolen. Have fun. I'm going to deal with that stuff, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.